good evening, good late evening, everyone. How are you doing, my fellow Americans, Christian brothers and sisters? You know, last year when I gave a whole series on Generation Z, as well as pretty much Generation Y, the second half of Generation Y, Generation Z, and the upcoming Generation Alpha on education, going to college, finances, buying a house, buying a car, managing credit, and basically trying to get people to go against the grain of what the media and academia is trying to tell you. For good reasons, because they were leading you down a road of debt and despair. I mean, you will literally get yourself in debt for these people to coach you and misguide you for the rest of your life. And today, when we lost our good friend Charlie Kirk, I mean, not my personal friend, the people he spoke to and spoke up for us, I realized that Charlie Kirk was that guy I was talking about last year. I forget to realize that Charlie Kirk was only 31 years old. Because he's been doing this so long, it's like he was born to do this, and he was born in 94, so that means he was at the tail end of Generation Y going to Generation Z. But he was the type of man I was talking to last year. He was the type of man I wanted Generation Z to become. To learn the mistakes of Generation Y and Generation X and the baby boomers. I mean, yeah, I did bust their chops on some things last year, but, you know, as I tell people who bust the chops of Generation Z, well, you know what? Generation Z didn't self-teach them. I mean, the people who were teaching them were the baby boomers and Generation X, and probably the top portion of Generation Y. Now, I know there's a bigger force out there trying to keep us all down. Yes, it's biblical, but if you want to put it in a physical form, it's called the central bank. My point being was Charlie Kirk was the guy Generation Z needed. That second half of Generation Y, Generation Z, and the upcoming Alpha males and Generation Alpha, even the women, they needed a guy like Charlie Kirk to mentor them, to teach them, to show them, because he was their age. He was young. He's a good-looking guy. He had a beautiful wife. He had 2 beautiful children. I think, if I look quickly, I think his estimated worth was $70 million. He was worth $70 million by age 31. That's amazing. This is a guy that didn't go to college. I don't think he even stepped foot in a college classroom, but he self-taught himself. He was a convicted believer in Jesus Christ. He stood up for Israel with no moral sickness. He had no problem doing it. Now, do I agree with everything he says? No, I never agree with everything anyone says. It's okay, you don't have to. But Charlie Kirk was that person, Generation Z and Generation Alpha, and probably the upcoming Generation Beta or Bravo needed. And it's a shame we lost him. Because he had that power to connect to that generation. And he had the power to connect it also with people like the baby boomers and myself. I like Charlie Kirk. He preached what I believed in. And to lose him, it's going to hurt. Now people would put him in, well, he's just another right-wing extremist, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but Charlie Kirk was different because Charlie Kirk went to the areas the other people wouldn't go, and that was on the college campuses. He would go on these college campuses. The same thing with another guy I'm trying to think of, think Steven Crowder does something similar also. Candace Owens was with Charlie Kirk a few times. I don't agree with a lot of stuff that Candace Owens says, but she was up there. And because Charlie Kirk's age and he was such a big Donald Trump supporter and believed America make it great again, there were a lot of people that couldn't stand it because he was reaching out to the college students. The way Donald Trump went into the blue cities and preached, listen, you've been doing it this way for so long, it's got you nothing but despair. Try a different way. Charlie Kirk did the same thing on the college campuses. You know what? And he never degraded anyone either. If you look at how he did his stuff, correct me if I'm wrong. I never heard him call anyone any names. Never used the F-bomb, never used this. Now, the people debating against would get mad at him, but oh well, and now the truth hurts. So that's what made Kirk special, because of how he did it. How Turning Point USA did it. They went into the lion's den, into the face of academia, and it says, sorry, you're misguiding these kids. And he would time and time again, no matter what the subject was, prove that these kids were brainwashed and these kids are being misguided. Charlie Kirk was worth $70 million and never stepped foot in a college classroom. And was never in debt. He owned a couple of houses, including one of the Florida Keys. He had 2 kids by age 30. He was happily married. He had a lot going for him. That's the guy Generation Z needed. That's the guy Charlie Kirk was inspiring. Says you don't have to settle for what they're telling you. Charlie Kirk was proof that because of the very same social media, internet, and the information out there, and if you have biblical convictions, you can self-teach your stuff, a lot of stuff, and not even step in the classroom and get subpar education from arrogant, tenured, overpriced, overpaid professors. And he was dangerous. Now what's even more frustrating is after what happened today, the suspect in hand was let go because he wasn't the guy, which means his skill is still out there. I'm not going to be surprised if this guy ends up being an MK Ultra person. And the way he took that shot today, this guy had some type of military background, or at least was heavily trained by the military. Or, because it is Utah, assuming he is from Utah, or she's from Utah, might have been an avid hunter. Now people say, well, if he was a real military shot, he would have gotten right between the eyes or in the eye. Well, yeah, maybe. But even if he did jerk the trigger a little, he got him right here. And if you saw the video, and I did, as soon as that bullet hit him, and you saw that blood coming out, you saw him go back. He's like, that's it. There's no comeback from this. I mean, unless Jesus supernaturally heals him, there was no coming back from that. Which means that guy's still out there. And he was a target because the left and all the political elites knew he was making an impact on these college campuses. He was the reason why a lot of young kids last election voted for Trump. And I noticed a difference because back in the first time Trump was president, I wear my MAGA hat. A lot of people would give me dirty looks, and a lot of them were the young kids. They wouldn't say anything, but I could tell, I could feel. I'm just waiting for them to say something. Say, hey, go ahead. Let's see how this is going to go for you. They wouldn't. Now I remember seeing those kids years later, towards the end of the Biden term, people would say, yo man, nice hat, man. I like your hat. Financial despair a crumbling dollar and putting the young generation in debt will wake up a group of people. And that's the impact Charlie Kirk had. He will be missed. Like I said, as his kill is still out there, you know, he was a target because he was having too much of an effect. Kind of like Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, JFK. They tried to get Reagan. They didn't. They tried to get Trump. They missed. Folks, it's a spiritual battle. The enemy is taking their shots at us. They never go away easy. And history has told us that these people only go down one way. That is to be physically defeated and also spiritually defeated. As the old saying goes, when good evil can only flourish if good men stand down and do nothing. And now that the good ones are standing up, and now that they've influenced a entire young generation to turn around, especially the men, we've seen a big shift in men becoming very conservative and turning to church because academia media has done nothing but trash men. And they're sick of it. And the result of that is the females are now being affected. It was a joke to them at first, but now they're starting to realize how men turn to God and men turn away from the dating scene with these women is starting to impact them. Alright, everyone. Your comments down below what your opinion like to know. Having gained an angel, the question is now, who's going to pick up the baton now? Generation Z, I know I busted your chops in the past, but as I said, I was rooting for you. I'm still rooting for you. And we need you. We need you. So if they tell you you're useless, you need to flip the tables around on these people. You're going to be needed. And you're going to be the generation that turns this thing around. And you're going to have to teach Generation Alpha to follow in your footsteps along with Generation Bravo. Good night, everyone. We'll talk to you next video.